Welcome to WODs that work for you. I'm Rob DeCillis, and in this presentation, I'm going to take you through steps of taking the workout of the days that we see throughout social media and implementing them into your training so you can get the results that you're looking for. So here is a plethora of WODs that I pulled off of social media. You have a whole slew of different types. You have EMOMs, you have chippers, you have threshold type work, AMRAMPs, okay? And these are specifically designed and put out there so you could get a really good workout in during your training week. So when you're looking at these WODs, you want to be able to take them and be able to implement them in your training so you can achieve the goals that you're looking for. But before we start, I want to take you through some of the pros and cons of WODs so you are aware of both, and that can help guide your decision on the use and the way you use WODs in your training. Okay, so for the pros, we have it adds variety to training. Now, that could be for somebody that's just starting in fitness, right? Sometimes they don't want to follow such a strict program. They want a little variety to keep them motivated, to keep going to the gym or keep getting in a fitness routine. And this variety allows them to keep that motivation going. And for somebody that's been in the gym for a while, right, maybe you become a little stagnant in the training program. Maybe you just want to change things up for a couple of weeks and you just add a little variety. And WODs are just great for that because now it's not some strict program you're following, but you kind of went off the side of the road and you're just taking a little different path for a little while, and you use these WODs to spice things up in your fitness, okay? WODs also help us improve our health. Obviously, anything that we do exercise-based is going to help us improve our health markers and our fitness. It improves, some of these WODs can help us improve our strength and our metabolic conditioning. So these are some of the pros here, right? But WODs are obviously physical in nature, but they not only challenge us physically, they challenge us mentally, because every time we do something challenging that's physical in nature, we increase our mental capacity and our mental strength as well. So when maybe we're stressed out at work, we can think about those hard WODs that we did and say to ourselves, oh, this isn't that bad while we're at work. This stress isn't that bad. I've done harder. And you could get past those stresses in your everyday life because you have been physically challenged. And it allows us to go on autopilot. So if you're just new to fitness, right, or you've been around and you're just adding that variety, we could just open up our social media and away we go. Pick whatever WOD we want to do. Maybe a couple scroll up in the morning when you wake up and you have something to choose and you're just have to look at it and get it done. Some of the cons are that these WODs are not personalized towards your goal. So if you're looking to do something specific in nature, maybe it is to burn some fat, maybe you're getting ready for a hybrid fitness event, maybe you are just getting ready for a 5K, these WODs are not something that are geared towards you as an individual. Overtraining can occur because of the daily high intensity that these WODs have. Many times the WODs that are put out there are extremely difficult, and if you go to that well often enough, it's going to lead to overtraining over the weeks and months of continuing to do it because you're not allowing your body to recover in time for that next WOD that is difficult, that next bout of fitness that is much more difficult than it should be the following day. So you want to make sure that you're not hitting these daily high intensities too often. And sometimes these things are just not at our fitness level yet. Notice I said yet because we may not be there right now, but it doesn't mean we can't get there using these WODs. We just have to do it in a progressive manner. Okay. Also, like I said, these things can lead to injury. And if you go to that hard place often, daily, it's going to lead to mental fatigue. And then you're going to start to not enjoy going to the gym, because every day is going to be like that grind of, oh, I have to do this hard workout again. And it does get mentally taxing over a stretch of period of time that you continue to do these WODs. So I have a 5-step plan here on how you can make these WODs work for you in your training. Okay, the first step is we're going to create a bank account. We're going to go over these each individually, but first step, we're going to go and create a bank account. The next, we're going to set up a goal. Then, using our goal and our bank account, we're going to set up the plan of attack and how we're going to use these WODs to get to the goal, the destination that we want to get to. Then finally, we're going to balance out our training here. So remember, I was talking about the high intensity, right? We're going to have to make a balance here so we are doing the right thing and helping us get those gains quicker. Finally, and make adjustments. So those are the 5 steps. We're going to go over them right now. We're going to start with step number 1, and that's create a bank account. So what I like to do is I like to create 3 categories here. So if I'm scrolling through social media, even if I'm on a specific program, even if I'm being coached by somebody else and they have a specific program, I'm always going through social media. And if I see a WOD that's pretty good, I'm going to either save it or screenshot it for later use. But I put it into a bank. And now I have these 3 categories, right? I have the aerobic easy day. Then I have an anaerobic interval threshold HIIT type session. These are your harder sessions that WODs have out there, okay? And then finally, I look for some strength sessions that are more geared towards strength training in the WODs. So now that I have these 3 categories, I'm able to pull from each of them depending on what I'm trying to, the gains or the stimulus I'm trying to elicit. So with these 3 categories, I'm able to pull out, do I need more aerobic work, anaerobic work, or strength work? And then we are able to move on to step number 2, and that is when we set up our goal. Our goal can be anything. It could be racing a 5K, doing a HYROX. Maybe you're doing a tactical strength challenge from Strong First, which incorporates deadlifts, pull-ups, and kettlebell snatches. It could be anything. But if you have the end in mind, you'll know where to start. So we have to begin with that end. Where do we want to go? What's our point B? So then when we're here at A, we have that straight line shot. Obviously, nothing's ever straight line, right? For success, it always goes up and down. But we want to make those up and downs as smooth as possible, and then we'll get to where we want to go. So some of the questions that we want to ask ourselves when we're setting up a goal, right, is, are we looking to improve our aerobic capacity? Are we looking to improve that base of fitness, that aerobic base where everything else is built upon it? Our anaerobic capacity, our speed, our top end speed, and that tip of the sword that we're talking about. Are we looking to get stronger? So maybe sometimes our aerobic capacity, right? If, let's just say, for instance, we're going into a hybrid fitness event such as HYROX, right? And we have been an aerobic athlete, runner for our whole life, right? We have that aerobic base. Now we need to add strength. So maybe our main focus is for a time period to get stronger. So we have to use those WODs that are strength-based more often than ones that are aerobic in nature or even anaerobic in nature. Are we attempting to build more muscle? Sometimes we just have to add a little more beef onto the bones so we could get the job done. Or are we just sharpening for any type of event, right? Something that we're 8 weeks out from, we have different workouts that we need to do to sharpen up as we head into the final moments before we hit the start line or whatever it is. And those 8 weeks of training are different from if we're 20 weeks out and the type of WODs that we need to be doing then. Or we just looking to maintain our fitness at the moment. Okay, sometimes we don't even have a specific goal. We're looking to maintain our health and our fitness, and that's just an important goal as anything. And how we go about inputting our WODs into a program that allows us to maintain is just as important as getting these WODs that will get us to like race day. So after we have our goal, now it's time to set up our plan. So our plan, our goals can only be achieved or be reached through a vehicle of a plan. Okay, so what are we looking at here when we're looking up how to create our plan, right? We got to base the plan off our goals, obviously. That's the most important key to this. We have our goal. Now we have to create the plan to get to that, to get to the destination. Variety versus a constant workout. So a lot of times I see the variety of a workout of the day. So the person will set up, get the workout of the day, and they'll do a different workout every day, a different WOD every day that they're training, but they will never hit that same WOD. So when we're setting up a program, you want to stay a little more constant, a little more continuity into it. So you go into your bank here, okay? We go into our bank, and if let's say we're focusing on our aerobic capacity, we want to find all those workouts. We want to find the WODs that are geared towards aerobic capacity. And now we can start implementing those. And I would not change the workout of the days from week to week. I would keep it constant for 4 to 6 weeks. Yes, that means hitting the same WOD in week 1 as in week 4 or 6. This way you can get a baseline of if your fitness is improving. If you have this constant variety of just doing the workout of the day every day, then you never really truly know if your fitness is improving. So if you have these consistent workouts that you do, just say like if it's really honed in, Monday you do workout of the day 1, Wednesday you do number 2, and then week 2 you do the same workout you did last Monday. So week 2 Monday, you're doing that first WOD. Week 2 Wednesday, you're doing number 2. The same one, 4 to 6 weeks. You have to allow some time period, and usually it's like 6 to 8 weeks, but I know some of us after 4 weeks will be itching, so I give you a little bit of leeway there, but really try and hit that 6 weeks of doing the same workout of the days in your weekly progressions and see where that takes you at the end. And that will build a nice base of doing the same workout and being able to build upon week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, all the way to 6, and then see where you land after week 6, after you have chosen those really good workouts from your bank. Okay? We want to start with, obviously like I said, we want to start with those workout of the days from the bank, right? You can use that first week as a baseline, right? Workout of the day. Number 1, you do it. Maybe it's an AMRAP. You see how many rounds you got. And then in week 6, you're testing again and to see what the improvement. Maybe week 1, you got 4 rounds out. And week number 6, you got 7. Has there been improvement? Yes. And it's because we have put our body under the stimulus and it has responded well to the plan. Okay? Now, after 6 weeks, what do? You can, and if you still have the same goal and it's a long distance goal, like it's like in the next 12 weeks, you can find workout of the days that are similar to the ones that you have just done. So they're not the same. You add that variety back in, but you're not changing the actual stimulus for the goal. You're just changing the workout. And now you could just replicate that 6 weeks with different workout of the days that are still geared towards your aerobic capacity, and then do that for another 6 weeks and see where you're landing. Okay? But one more thing I want to say, when you have these plans, right? So if aerobic capacity is here, that's your main goal. Do not neglect the strength component and the anaerobic. You want to add those in as well as the aerobic workouts too. So it's not just all aerobic for the week. No, have your aerobic capacity workout of the days, and then have your strength workout of the days, maybe 2, because you're really focusing on aerobic capacity, and then have that one anaerobic day where you really hit it hard. Okay, and then be flexible with your training. Like I said, yeah, like you can have the plan all set out, but things are going to come up in life. And you want to be able to move parts around and work out of the days around your WODs, move them here. You got to if you have to take the kids to the doctor, then, and you couldn't get the workout in, then maybe you just move it to the next day, because you just have to have that flexibility with yourself, and that allows you to stay consistent. Don't beat yourself up over not getting in what you have exactly planned. Maybe it just has to be pushed to the next day. If you're older like me, you know who this guy is, Mr. Miyagi, right? And remember, he said to Daniel, son, whole life have balance. Everything be better. So we have to, with our workout of the days, be more balanced. Like I said, we cannot be hitting WODs every day at a high intensity. It's just going to break us down. So that balance has to be inputted by us. We have to take a step back, detach ourselves from the training program and from our ego, and to allow us to not go out of balance. So it's easy to fall into that trap of hard, embrace the suck type thing. And sure, that's important, but it's not an everyday thing that has to be done. We do not have to embrace the suck every day, because like I said before, one of the cons is that it will lead to you mentally disengaging from your workouts and lack of enjoyment. Okay, right? And consistency is always greater than intensity. So if we're going intense all the time, and we don't allow ourselves to recover from these hard bouts of exercise, right? And it leads to injury, then we can't be consistent. And in the last 23 years of coaching, getting injured and not being consistent with training is what are the times when I have not achieved the goal that I wanted to achieve. But being able to manage and balance out this training when I was able to figure out the key, it allowed me to be more consistent with my training, stop getting injured, and being able to put in and day out the workouts that got me to where I wanted to go. Okay, so too many of these will compound stress. Even workouts are stressful, right? Your whole life is filled with stress, work, family, and then you're including this physical demand. So all these things will compound stress, and that will be what leads to eventual injury. So you want to make sure we have that balance. We want to make sure we have our metcons in there, our strength work in there, and our aerobic workout of the days. Our balance between the stress, the hard, and the recovery is important. So one thing I'm going to show you right now, and you don't see this too often out there, are recovery WODs. Okay? And when we talk about active recovery, a lot of times people will be like, oh, I just went for a walk, or I just ran for 10 minutes, or I went on the elliptical, and they call that an active recovery day. But here we're going to take it to another level, and I'm going to show you an example of a recovery WOD that I often use within my training week, especially when I know that I'm more fatigued and I feel that my body is breaking down and I need a rest. But I also know that these type of recovery workout of the days are sometimes way better than just taking completely off, because these workout of the days, recovery WODs, will allow that blood flow and to ignite that parasympathetic central nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system. It will ignite that. It will turn it on, and that will aid in our recovery. So here's a recovery WOD, right? We're going to start with breathing drills. Okay, you can use any breathing drill that you want. Belly breathing, Wim Hof, box breathing. I don't care what kind of breathing drill that you have seen. There's so many, and they're all good. It's whatever you want to choose, right? I like box breathing, to be honest with me. It just allows me to get into that rhythm, but that doesn't mean that you have to do the box breathing, right? So for 5 minutes, you're going to sit or lay on the ground and really use that breath to start letting your body come into one, right? After we're done with that, you're going to put in a bout of mobility drills. Now, these mobility drills it's not, see, nothing is set in stone here, right? Mobility drills based on you. So for me, for instance, my hips are tight. When I come up from a burpee on the burpee broad jump, my left hip is always tighter. So I work on a little more hip mobility, and I work on some shoulder strength because I like to sleep on my side. So sometimes my shoulders get jacked up a little bit. So I want to work on that shoulder mobility as well. So one thing that I like to do is go down in that goblet squat, right? And hold in that down position with a light kettlebell or dumbbell. And I hold and I spread my legs out so my hips open up. And then I put the kettlebell or dumbbell down and I get up on the bar and I just hang for 30 seconds. And I do like 2 to 3 rounds of that as mobility. Sometimes I do other mobility drills that there are a whole slew out there that you could do, whatever it is the case may be. Maybe you got the tight ankles, tight hips, maybe your knees bothering you want to work on some of that, okay? Hamstrings are tight, you want to work on some flexibility, okay? Shoulder mobility, whatever it is that you're lacking in that specific moment, that's what you put into that area right here. It doesn't have to be a half hour. So you got the 5 minutes here, you got another, say, 10 minutes of there, and then you're going to do one strength movement. One. And it's going to be low volume. You're going to do 3 sets. That's it. No more than 3 sets, no more than 5 reps. I usually like 3 by 3 here. Okay? And I usually pick up maybe barbell clean, and I keep the weight, the intensity down between 65 and 75% of any max. Or if I'm just playing around with the kettlebells, then I'm doing lighter kettlebells or maybe plyometrics. But I'm not hammering away. I use cleans. I hit my cleans at like 65%, put the bar down, rest 2 minutes, hit my next set of 3 of power clean, boom, put the bar down, rest another 2 minutes, hit my other set, done, clean up the bar, and I'm on to the next part of the recovery WOD. And that is a low volume, easy to moderate intensity aerobic fitness zone 2 type thing. You should be able to have a conversation during this time period, like full on conversation. Like you could have a business meeting throughout this, and you can use any type of equipment that you want. You could be on a spin bike, a rower, elliptical, stair climber. I usually stay clear away from running because of the impact. It is a recovery day. I want the least amount of impact. So these things will allow me to keep the impact low. And you just go 20 to 30 minutes. Tops, the top 45-minute session. Whenever I do these sessions, I leave feeling wonderful. So these recovery workout of the days are excellent to drive that parasympathetic response up and get that recovery from those hard WODs that we're implementing on a daily and allow you to recover the best possible way so you can always continue to hit it harder in your next session. Okay, now next comes let's adjust for you, right? The strongest will is the will that knows how to bend. Okay, we don't want to always end up on the floor like we're dying after a workout. I like to end up my workouts in a stronger position than that. Nothing wrong with going all out where you're down on the floor, but too often I see this on a daily basis by people, and it's just not cool. It's not cool. It's just, hey, let's go. Let's adjust our workout here for you, right? We have to start being honest with ourselves. Where are we on our fitness journey? Are we at the level of the WOD that we're looking at on our screen at the moment? We have to drop the ego, and I've been guilty of this as well. I'll scroll and find one and say, oh, I can do that. And then I start the workout, and about midway through, I'm like, oh, I can't do this. And I know sometimes WODs are scaled, but sometimes we have to scale them even more. Okay, there's no harm in being a male that has to do the female weight. Sometimes I got to do the lower than that weight because I'm just not as strong in that WOD. And it's okay. We drop the ego, and when we drop the ego, we will get the results that we're looking for because we can progress our training properly. Okay, so it's always best to scale to our ability. If it's scaled and it's still difficult, scale some more. Live to fight another day. Because when we live to fight another day, that's consistency, and consistency will always win in the long run when we're trying to get fit or get ready for any type of competition or build any aerobic base, strength, or whatever it may be. Because if we're doing too hard and we can't get to the next session recovered enough to do it the way it's supposed to be, then we're falling off and our fitness will be going this way instead of this way. Okay? It's okay to make a mid-workout. Like I said, many times I've grabbed the workout and instead of scaling it at the beginning, I had to scale it in the middle of the workout. And that's okay. Sometimes you have scaled it at the beginning and then midway through the workout, you're like, oh, I need more rest here. It calls for 1 minute rest, but I need 1:30. I need 2 minutes. It calls for 135 on the bar. I need 115. Let me change these plates out really quick. And you do it. Maybe it's a running, maybe it's threshold runs. Maybe we're not at the point of running threshold for 5 minutes. Maybe it's, okay, let's start at 2 minutes. And then week 2, when we implement our plan, we do 3 minutes or 2:30. And then week 3, we do 3 or 4 minutes, depending on you. And then by week 5, we're at 5 minutes now. And now we're doing the workout of the day, the WOD that we had seen originally, that we took from our bank, and now we are doing it at the level that it calls for on the app, on the paper. Okay? More, and importantly, one thing that many people don't do is using a training journal to track all your workouts. So you have your plan set up. Now you write down the WOD, you write down what you did on week 1. And now week 4, you have written down, you're going to forget what you did week 1. So you want to have history of it. So when you hit week 6, week 4, week 6, you can look back at week 1 and say, oh, I'm not progressing. What am I doing wrong? Let me make an adjustment. Or this seems very easy. Let me make it a little bit harder. Because sometimes that happens too. Sometimes we pick a WOD and it's not as difficult as it may be on paper. For you, it may be difficult for someone else, but for you, maybe it's a little bit easier. So you have to maybe either add rounds or whatever. So it can go up as well. But if you have your workouts tracked, you could see where you're going and know exactly how you're performing. So coming down the home stretch here, 3 keys to success, right? Choose the WODs based on your needs. That's why it's important to have that piggy bank. Okay, so when you have that piggy bank of WODs, right? That bank account of WODs, you know exactly, am I looking for a strength one for this next 4 weeks, 6 weeks? Okay, let me implement this strength WOD that I saw. I'm going to put that in for the next 4 weeks. If I'm looking for aerobic capacity, let me choose it. But it's based on your goal and need, not if someone else is doing it or you're just looking to be cool and post it on social media. You want to get to your goals, then you'll look really cool. Okay? Stay consistent, right? We stay consistent by continually having that balance of stress hard workout of the day, hard WOD, and that recovery component. And like the third point here, you want to make sure that you're recovering well. Okay? Recovery WODs are important, and they are a game changer in the way I have implemented them into my fitness and training programs for myself and my clients as well. So we're coming down here. That's me, obviously, right? Certified strength and conditioning coach. I'm also a HYROX performance coach now. I do offer online coaching for HYROX teams, doubles, right, and teams. So if you're looking to get HYROX online coaching and you don't want to spend a fortune on coaching platform and getting some good workouts, right, you can jump in with a partner and you guys can split the cost. And that comes with some bi-weekly phone calls on the training program and discussion revolving around your goals and things of that nature and how you're progressing through the training program, right? I also, if you're into just doing your own program and you want to bounce ideas off of a coach, I do offer consulting, coaching consulting, training program consulting, where we get on call and for 30 minutes we talk about what your program looks like, the program that you design. I give you some input. You could take the input or you can leave it. And if you want, you make the adjustments in your program and then you go. And then you get back to me and say in 4 to 6 weeks and you say, hey, Rob, this thanks for the heads up, or your advice was awful, whatever, you know what I mean, right? And then you have somebody, a professional coach, looking at your stuff and being able to help you out and guide you without the big cost of, private online one-on-one coaching or that team-based coaching and doubles coaching that I mentioned earlier. So for online coaching, you can contact me via email at robertdecillis@yahoo.com, or you can message me on Instagram at Fitness Racing Lifestyle. So I'm glad you guys are all a part of this wonderful presentations, and I hope to see you sometime.